I don't think Megan knows, I never didn't want to tell the truth, but she's making it hard for me.
If you're going to preach protect black women, stand on that. Stand on that.
Hey guys, it's your girl, Kelsey Nicole. So thanks to Mob Radio, I finally got a chance to sit down and listen to what would be the full audio or the full interview that Kelsey Nicole had with prosecutors. And it was in that audio that I realized that Kelsey Nicole had actually told us the full story of what actually happened between her and Megan and why they are really no longer friends and what's going on in this situation. So I decided to do a breakdown of Megan versus Kelsey so we could all see from Kelsey's point of view what went down here between these two. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it.
Say the cops, kind of passed them a little bit. One cop car. So I guess maybe they thought they wasn't coming for them. But then the swarm of cops is behind them now and a damn helicopter. Megan was calm, okay? She said, but I was having a panic attack. She said, Megan said, call T. Ferris. They say T. Ferris had bad signal. So she sent a text to Justin that said, help 911, Tory shot Megan.
Did anybody ever ask Megan how come it took her 2 years to produce this text message that Kelsey sent Justin? Because I find it interesting that the only text that Megan put forward as evidence that Tory did anything was the apology text that he sent her that didn't say that he shot her, but she didn't release this one. Why?
She said she dropped her location to T. Ferris. She said then she texted her mother and said help. And I also called a person that I was talking to at the time and kept the line open because I was just so nervous about what was going on in the car. So I just wanted him to be on the line so he could listen. And that Kelsey was in the car crying. So that Tory told her, girl, shut the fuck up. The cops came and made them get out the car. And she said, please don't put your knee on my back like George Floyd.
So Kelsey was the one who was afraid of police because it seems to me like she was texting her mom to get that bail ready and she had put her friend on the phone to make sure he was listening in to the police stop just in case anything went wrong.
She said Megan was very calm. They said could she have been in shock? She said, oh no, she was calm. They said she didn't seem upset with Tory. And she said people weren't really talking. Her adrenaline was running. She said they, taking Meg. She said, I regret not saying something about my injuries at the time because I should have. She said she was so focused on Megan, she didn't talk about it. She said Ferris actually came to the scene as they were putting Megan in the ambulance. And I guess, I don't know if he got in the ambulance with her and left with her, but he was on the scene. And remember, she had sent the location. She said I ended up being taken to the police station and she called security, Justin, and asked for a ride. Justin said, go ask her manager, Jilly. So they say Jilly came immediately, took Kelsey to her apartment, changed clothes, and went to Megan.
Now, Justin was supposed to be on the East Coast when this text message was sent because that's how they were explaining the 7:27 a.m. time frame as if this was from his phone and he gave it to Megan so Megan can share it with Gail. So I guess he was also there when Kelsey called him after she got out of jail trying to get a ride. So I find it a little interesting that Kelsey doesn't seem to be aware that he's not even in town at all to be able to help her. But maybe he told her when, she called him for a ride from jail.
She said I didn't get to see or talk to Megan. She said then I eventually got a text back and I asked to see Megan, but nobody was answering me. And she said no sooner than I can send that message, they already had my flight booked. The flight was it was within the next 2 hours. And Kelsey said, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, she confused, like, y'all sending me home or like what? And so she says that Desiree told her LA is dangerous and the house isn't safe, so you need to go get a rental. She said, look, can you rebook my flight so I can get my shit together? And she said okay. She said a driver came, and helped her remove her things from the house and she went to a hotel.
So when Kelsey goes up to the hospital to check on Megan, she's told by Megan's team that Megan is sticking with the glass story, but Kelsey needs to get her stuff out of Megan's house. They had booked her a flight home and she needed to go. So she's okay with this, but she just needed a couple of days so she can get her stuff together, she says. But she goes and packs her things. She's not concerned about what's going on with Tory at all, because at this point, she thinks that they're trying to protect her. So the next day after the shooting, Kelsey sends Tory a pen to her hotel so that he can come and drop off her things that she left inside of his truck. So this is when Kelsey tries to claim that Tory had tried to bribe her with all of these different things, and one of those things happened to be a lawyer. So this is where I'm going to say that Kelsey is lying about this at, because she still hasn't been able to materialize any evidence of Tory bribing her like she claimed that she had. And I think that when Tory came over and he apologized for what was going on, he only apologized for how the situation happened, and then he offered to get her an attorney if she needed one. And this is when Kelsey freaked out again.
She said the team was treating me weird. So Kelsey said she sent a long ass text message. You know how you just get fed the fuck up and you send a whole 3 paragraphs? Yeah, that. So she said Megan finally called her back and said, look, find a place and I'll pay for your rent for a year. And that's when it was revealed to her that Megan had caught a red eye to New York. So she was like, damn, they shut me out? Like, what the fuck I do?
Now remember that Kelsey had been back in LA for about 2 weeks before this incident occurred, and she claimed it was because Megan had told her that they were supposed to be getting an apartment together. So obviously after the shooting, this was not happening anymore, but she was still stuck in LA. So I guess this is the reason why she was contacting Megan to find out what was going on, what was the plan, what was she supposed to do, etc. So Megan finally called her back and was like, look, just go get an apartment and I'll pay the rent for a year and then we'll talk later or something. And that was it.
She said Megan hit her up on the 15th and said, Kelsey, do you want me to include you in this statement? She said, yes, Megan, I want you to protect me because I'm being threatened. You know, people are threatening my mother and all of that shit. So I said, yeah, please protect me and mention me in your statement, okay? She said, I'll talk to my lawyer, about it. She said, before I knew anything, Megan posted the statement and left me completely out. They said Kelsey said Megan made an Instagram post and Kelsey read the Instagram post, in the interview. She said, so when Megan posted that and the public turned on me, I made my own post. After I made my own post, Megan said, why did you say that? This ain't the way.
Megan never told anybody that she was shot until she put out this statement. So it makes no sense that she would contact Kelsey and say, hey, Kelsey, would you like me to put you a part of this statement? And she's like, yeah, because I'm being threatened. Threatened by who and for what? When all that anybody knew was that Megan had stepped on glass. And exactly what was she supposed to be protecting you from if she was just going to come out later and say that Tory did it? So if she was trying to protect you, or she was supposed to protect you, is she protecting you because you shot her?
And I'm upset that she never defended or protected me. She didn't know that I had met Tory to get my stuff. So she didn't have no reason to be mad at me, which is even more interesting. So what was the animosity about?
Now, Kelsey claims the reason why Megan put up this statement without protecting her in it is because Kelsey had met with Tory behind her back, but Megan didn't know that Kelsey had met with Tory the next day. But Megan did know, and she was mad, according to her interview with Rolling Stone done this year. So when Megan had asked Kelsey why she had met up with Tory, she said it was because Megan and her team had been ignoring her like Kelsey had already said, and she didn't know what else to do and her back was against the wall. And Megan said that Kelsey had told her out her mouth that Tory had basically bribed her, and from that day on, Kelsey had said nothing about this situation online. So Kelsey was upset because Megan didn't protect her by saying Tory was the shooter in that post and left it up in the air on who did it. And Megan was upset because Kelsey hadn't come out and say Tory was the shooter either. And this had to be due to Tory bribing her at the hotel, even though he had already bribed them in the driveway after the shooting and in the car before the police pulled them out of it, to which neither of them said anything about him being the shooter, for either of them to have been upset at each other for not coming out and saying that he was the shooter. And Megan, you waited until August to name Tory as the shooter. And in between that time, you started making Kelsey look like a snake who took money to not name Tory as the shooter.
I see a lot of people painting fake ass narratives and making up stories and all this other whack ass shit. I was shot in both of my feet, and it's not that I was protecting anybody. I just wasn't ready to speak. It was nothing for y'all to start going and making up fake stories about. I didn't put my hands on nobody. I didn't deserve to get shot. I didn't do shit. And thank God for the people I have around me that are actually here for me and are actually my friends. Don't want shit from me, would never turn on me for no amount of money, no amount of clout. That wouldn't make up stories about me to save face. That wouldn't go against the grain. Just thank God for them.
When Megan did this live, she was poking at both Tory and Kelsey. And the reason why she was doing that is because she was mad at all of the little blogs and stuff that she was seeing that had all of these little sources in there that was coming out with bits and pieces of the story about what happened at Kylie's house and what happened in the car. And obviously, whoever was leaking the stuff about what went on at Kylie's house had to be Kelsey or Tory. And whoever was leaking what went down in that car was clearly Kelsey, because like I said, there were times where I caught articles that were like a couple of days after the shooting that clearly had to come from either Megan or Kelsey leaking stories to the blogs. So when she did this live, she's poking at both of them for trying to come out and expose her secrets that she was trying to keep to herself. Because like she told Rolling Stone, I was all upset at them poking at me and telling all of these lies to the blogs that actually turned out not to be lies.
And she went online and made it seem like I took hush money. So I text her. Kelsey said I text her and I said, why the fuck is you bashing me? You know, they were trying to make me break.
Y'all asking where people at? Why ain't nobody saying nothing? Ask them why they not saying nothing. I haven't talked to the same people. Y'all worry about where they at. I don't lie. I don't have to lie. Ask that nigga why he not saying nothing. What the fuck he gonna get on here and say? Yeah, I shot her. Why? Tell him why you shot me. No reason.
She say Megan hit her up and said, Kelsey, I need you to get on social media and say what happened to us. Okay? They said her manager told me that she wasn't going to press charges. Kelsey went to her lawyer. After consulting her lawyer, they said, you're not about to say a motherfucking thing. Because she ain't had your back and we worried about you and what's going to happen with you. And so she said, no, I'm not going to say anything. So my lawyer said no to her demands. Kelsey said Megan demanded that I get online and defend her.
Kelsey, why did you have a lawyer? You didn't do anything wrong, remember? So what would you have a lawyer for exactly that you needed to go ask him? Was it okay for you to come out and just say that Tory did it when you had already done that through text and through your post online? And Megan, what did you mean by say what happened to us? Because according to your police statements, nothing happened to Kelsey. You completely do not recall anything going down between her and Tory. And what exactly did you need Kelsey to protect you from? The rumors floating around online?
She said, I told Megan that we need to talk. Once she said she told her about not going on social media for her, that's when Megan started coming at her crazy. And it said that how you gonna go, online and say what you said and go see that nigga. And she just kind of started throwing that shit in her face. They said she had her friend saying that I got my chain from Hush Money when I been paid for that chain, and it commemorates the day that my father died. They said she obviously approved these messages, so that's when it was over. And she said I wasn't interested in doing a damn thing that had nothing to do with Megan. Fuck her. That's when Kelsey said, I knew that this wasn't genuine, and we stopped talking.
If you're gonna preach protect black women, stand on that. Stand on that. Because you and I both know. You and I both know.
Should've let them lock your ass up. Pussy.
So if you go back and you listen to both Megan and Kelsey's songs now, it is clear as day that they were both calling each other out for knowing the real truth of that night, and it definitely wasn't sounding like Tory did it. So in Megan's song, Megan asked Kelsey who she was taking shots at more than once and made it loud and clear that she was daring Kelsey to come out and tell the truth and expose herself. And if she wasn't going to do that, then she needed to shut up with her scary ass and let Megan handle her business. And that she hadn't snitched to police. Did Kelsey forget that she was the one who got her chain snatched, and then when the law was called, she was the one who had something to say? Talking about that text to Justin. And that it was Kelsey who was jealous of her and wanted her men, and that Kelsey wasn't on her level, and that she was aware that Kelsey had been trying to sabotage her to the blogs, and she had eyes everywhere watching, and she had jumped on her while she was down, and she remembers everything. And the next time that she sent a shot, she was shooting back. So Kelsey responded and said, Megan, I was shooting at you, and called her an alcoholic who crashed a boat on tequila, and that it was a shame that they had even got to this point. And it was all Megan's fault because she couldn't control her feelings, and she had let Dick cost her a lot. That Megan was lying about her back being turned, and she knew what really happened. That she was never jealous of her, and if Megan had just stayed silent, then Kelsey would have been told the truth. And that Megan had lied to the DA about her being paid off, and that she needed to shut her friends up because they were acting like some crash dummies. Really talking about Megan bringing up that chain being snatched while also trying to deny a fight that night. She said, how is it to protect black women now when you didn't even protect me? And she didn't want to have to do this, but Megan keeps sending shots at her. And she was told that if she did come out and tell the truth, a sex tape would be dropped on her. And she says that Megan was the one who was sucking D behind her back, but claiming that she's a pimp in her music, and that she was lying to her label about what really happened. And who shot you, Megan? This right here is what gets me. It's the fact that this part right here is at the end of Megan's song Shots Fired. And she's saying, I should have let them lock your ass up, pussy. And I'm confused about why she would be making this statement at all. Because first of all, Tory did get locked up. So the only person you could be directing this at is Kelsey. So what would you be saying she should have got locked up for, Megan?
That said she makes songs about me. People be posting about me, and people don't know what to feel about me, Then she accused Megan of calling around Houston and telling people that she took Hush Money and not to talk to her, okay? Whew. Kelsey says she hit up her representation and said, can you ask Megan's people to fucking stop? Kelsey says that when her lawyer hit up Megan people and said, baby, can she please stop? They said, well, why won't you get online, and say that, what happened? She said Megan never holds herself accountable for shit. She said we could have gone home that night, okay? But she got mad at me and said, and tried to flip it on me. She said she tried to tell me, child, because now we back at the party in the circumstances from that night. She said that Megan told her, child, he tried to stay with Kylie. she said that's when I realized that she never would left a slip at Kylie's house. She was just mad that he was with Kylie. So she tells Kelsey, he over there with Kylie, bitch, trying to make her mad, trying to make her want to go back over there, when really she wanted to go back over there. That's what Kelsey said. So, yeah, they said she was mad that he was staying over there with Kylie. This wasn't about no fucking slipper. She said, Megan asked me to stop fucking with Tory because she may have to work with him in the future. But now I know that there were other reasons why she asked me to do that. She said, it's better to say that Kelsey was a bit of best friend and versus saying that Megan was mad about Tory and Kylie. I know I was pushed out, okay? Because she didn't tell the truth initially. She said they ain't gonna tell the truth under oath. Then Kelsey said, my concern, outside of this is my safety. And she said, we'll talk off the record about that.
So now here we are, finally at trial for this saga where we have Kelsey taking back her story to prosecutors and claiming she felt pressure to talk. And the only people she says threatened her was Megan's team. Which one would have to wonder why they would do that in the first place, or why Kelsey even felt she needed protection from Megan in the beginning of this case if she felt she had done nothing wrong. Why did her and Megan even fall out? Because there was a shooting, and then the next thing we know, they aren't friends. She's allowing people to drag Kelsey up and down the internet for not coming out and saying Tory was the shooter when Megan herself hadn't even named Tory as the shooter. Letting all of this speculation fly. They then unfollow each other, and then we got diss tracks from them where it's all about this shooting and Kelsey being paid off when, again, Megan had started hinting at a payoff with Tory before she even named him as the shooter, and there was even a case against him, and then claimed Kelsey never said anything to help her online after this. When the very first thing Kelsey did was claim that she wasn't the shooter when Megan announced that she was actually shot. So how much more help online did Megan want from Kelsey? Kelsey had implicated Tory in the shooting even if she didn't say his name, as he was the one who got arrested for having the gun. And then you came out and announced he was the shooter. So exactly what were you two upset with each other about? When you put it all in perspective, it doesn't really make sense unless there was something else sinister going on here. Now, the next steps in this trial is both sides should be bringing in more witnesses to prove their case, like the detective and the witnesses on scene who saw something different than what Megan and Kelsey have described. And as far as both sides' security go, it doesn't really matter if either showed up and gave their side unless they were not going to support the person they showed up for. Whatever they said would be taken as he say, she say, and could or would be looked at like they're just coming in to defend the people that they work for. So how credible could they be really? So I don't believe either side is pressed to have either one come in, as it doesn't really make their case. And the state has more of the burden of proof right now, and they're failing miserably. So with that said, stay tuned.